But that is a spring one, that spring's been there forever, you go there in the middle of the
Oh,
winter,
yeah.
that
Oh,
water.
it's always, but in Trudeau's yard, that water, there, if you look on one side of the road, the water on the other side of the road doesn't equate to what's on Trudeau's side. No way. I mean, Trudeau's side of the road right now's got a small brook. There is no water coming out in that rain garden. I look at it, I wonder if there's a ledge that is following and pops out down there. But you don't see any wet spots till you get right down to the bottom. But I don't know, just something I observed. But.
Yeah, well, there's a culvert there, and that's where they suggested the stuff that runs out of there, that we're gonna plant the kinds of plants that the roots filter. The best thing is cattails, but I have yet to find somebody who sells, a nursery that sells cattails. If we could, that would be perfect, because they are the best filterers of water, are the roots of cattails. So, and that's why the Phragmites and the purple loosestrife are bad, because they choke out cattails, and they don't filter water as good as cattails do. And that's why, but that gets into a whole other area of invasive plants. So, okay. Okay, application for NYMER, that's the New York Municipal Insurance something. But it's, the application is into them for insurance, and next month, the Northern Insurance is who can sell NYMER in Clinton County. They'll be coming to give us a briefing on what it's gonna cost.
Next month.
Yep, next meeting. Matt Favreau is gonna come and talk to Leslie and I about their insurance, even though he's pretty much resigned. Matt McGuire, yes, from Sidspear. He's gonna come, not Favreau, I'm sorry. Matt McGuire is gonna talk to us about what they can offer. He's already pretty much resigned to the fact he can't match NYMER, but he wants to give us an idea of what it is, so that when we see NYMER, we should see a definite drop. He's kind of given us it shouldn't be any more than this, it should be a lot less than this. He's gonna give us what they would charge us. So that would be a good
savings.
Yeah. Let's see. Anyone have any other old business? Let's see. No, I don't. Okay. New business. Need a motion to accept the resignation for Margaret Toloski, Town Justice.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to accept Margaret Kowalski's resignation of town justice.
And second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And also, we need to approve the appointment of Justice Phil Maynard, who's been filling in already from May 1st through the end of the year.
I'll go ahead and make that a motion to approve the appointment of Justice Philip Menard, whatever you pronounce it, from May 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024.
And we will have an election this year. We were hoping we had a year with no costs, but we have to put justice on the ballot, so that will be.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, mosquito bandit agreement. They, if you recall, we had them come and spray the playgrounds. The one on the Emma King Park, the Phillips Court Park, and the beach to spray for mosquitoes. They have reached out to us said they won't be raising their price for current customers, which is us, and that if we pay in full, they give us 5% discount. Last year, it was $1,400 for them to come out 3 times, was it, Leslie?
I thought it was twice.
Twice? But to spray for the mosquitoes. And I think it went pretty well. I think,
We had a lot of positive feedback from it,
yeah,
so.
So, need a motion to
yep, need a motion to,
pay the Muskie Bandit in full for the season of 2024 at whatever it is with the.
It's 1,400, right?
1,400 minus 5%. So
Just put that.
I've got my phone off, I can't calculate that.
$70.
70.
$70.
Okay, so for 1,330.
15,
Very good. Second,
Second.
any more discussion? Roll call, Jim?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Joey?
Yep.
Deb?
Yes. Stewart's Grant. I had told you a few months ago, we put in for Stewart's Grant, and we got approved for $2,000. Those are specifically for youth-type things, and I'll recommend to our people that are on the parks and whatnot, that we put that $2,000 toward rubber mulch. We need to put more rubber mulch on Wilford King. We need to put more at the beach, and we need to put a lot more in Lime Mountain, because they are just with sand right now. So put that toward them. We know that we can get it locally now.
Really?
Commercial sales, sells
Oh,
it by
yeah.
the big bale, which would be a lot easier than cutting open 10,000 bags like we did for some beach. Basically, they put it in a huge bag, and you've got a forklift or, forks, you lift it up, slice the bottom, and it just goes, and then it's all.
Before they do that this year, is there something that we can spray everything with? To check, cause like the beach, all the grass is growing right up and
I think
like
that's,
some kind of herbicide, like,
well,
what's the name, like Jerry Relation maybe, you could
we'll have to see if it's.
see what it would be to spray all the, take one day,
Yeah.
maybe shut it down for a day, spray, I don't know how long
I think
it
that
needs to sit.
part of our problem at the beach is that our lawnmower guy
Bluegrass.
shot bluegrass onto there, and then it rooted, because it's got that mat underneath it, so
Got pretty
nothing,
bad towards the
nothing
end.
should have grown up through that mat. I think it,
Not this fast.
no, I think it grew from being in there,
That's
so
possible,
we'll take a look, make sure the mat is still down, and we'll have to put mat underneath the one in
Oh, wow.
Phillips. But we still have leftover mat in the town garage.
It's not that difficult, you could move it around with a rake, I mean, with a little bit of effort,
Mhm.
you could get it out of there by hand, I mean, the majority of it.
What if you cover it up with plastic and suffocate it before you put the new mulch down?
Yeah, I think it's more of the other thing, but it should be dead now, because it was above ground, it was growing in the rubber mulch, so the winter should have
Yeah, like Mike said,
decimated
we
it.
could just rake that area up and see, and if
Yeah,
that is the issue,
and make
then
sure that
we'll
we-
know to make sure they don't mow.
But he
towards
does,
the-
he blows it in, and he doesn't trim, he doesn't weed whack, I don't know that he uses the weed whacker at all.
No.
I know on Emma King, he never weed whacks the
No.
fence, and he never weed whacks the perimeter, which allows those weeds to go over the
Well,
top.
some of those invasive grasses actually are viney, and they'll grow right along
Mhm.
the top of the ground,
One, he's gotta be careful,
and then they'll
because
sprout up.
at Wilford King, at that park, he should be able to weed whack, because if
Right.
you've got wood, that plastic that goes around
Yeah, he might.
at the playground, you hit that with a weed whacker, and you're gonna,
Yeah,
You
you
know.
don't like the weed whack.
Good break.
but you don't wanna put, I know someone was after him to weed whack around the pump house, it's like,
And if
that's
we
not
do
our
put
property.
weed killer of some sort, it probably should be like environmentally friendly.
Yeah, well, we'd have to get with,
Well, you gotta have a
we'd
license.
have to get with Jerry.
Yeah,
Jerry.
That's what I say, that's what I say.
Something
that's
that's
what-
organic more so than,
Yeah,
He's the only one licensed in the area to do
Yeah.
that, so, and he does all the businesses in Plattsburgh.
That's all the state,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the state. comes up to the jail. then
So
they-
we'll see what, I mean, we'll see what he can do, for that. Okay, let me make a note of that.
Do you need a motion for that, that we put that grant money towards that, or no?
No. That was informational,
'Cause it's
but that was my
stipulated
suggestion, is that would be a good thing to spend that money toward, because I know we need more at Emma King Park. We need more
Perfect.
at the beach on that end where the grass is
A
specifically.
very small bit.
And then in Lime Mountain, we need a bunch, so.
Did you ever find out how that dog park is doing in Dannemora?
I think it's doing pretty good. Yeah, they've got a containment,
I've seen a few people there, just drive by, but I don't know.
yeah. It's, they have it separated for little dogs and big dogs, so the big dogs don't eat the little dogs. And so, I think it's working pretty well. I mean, this time of year, maybe not, but in the summertime, when I went by there not long after they opened it, there were quite a few that were in there. Mostly the little dogs, believe it or not, because, opposed from running around the house, they could run around in the park. So, okay, let's see, next. Okay, motion to hire Tedford Consulting to apply for funding grant with rural development. Is that RD?
Mhm.
Yeah, yes.
At a cost not to exceed $2,000. That is for the water system in Dannemora. On the other side of Dannemora, we gotta
Yeah.
look at that. And so, she said there are grants out there for up to 60,000 to have it engineered. So, obviously we're required to have it engineered, because it's a municipal water source. So, if we can get the grant to pay for the engineering, then once that's in place, then we can move on to apply for a grant to
The funding.
fund fixing that water system. So I'll make the motion to hire Tedford Consulting.
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Joey?
Yep.
Deb?
Yes. And then, we only did these separately this time because Liz needs to have that motion separate. So, next one is to authorize Becky to publish the request for qualifications, for that. And that's how you get your, we put that out and the engineers send us basically their proposal, what they can do for us. But it's gotta be in the paper, so, I'll make that motion to authorize town clerk to publish the RFQ.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any other new business before we go into committee reports? Okay. So Francis Perrier came and talked to me on Monday, and Essex County has passed a law, a tether law, and I hope I brought it with, oh yeah, it's right here. Basically, they had somebody who went to, Essex County has this law about dogs, keeping dogs tied up outdoors for prolonged periods, and it's a very long law. This is their law for that. And so an individual in Clinton County went to the Clinton County legislature and wanted them to consider doing the same thing. And Francis was going around just asking town supervisors how we felt, and the way he feels is that it should be the town's decision. I was at a supervisor's meeting today, and actually they brought up some good points. Chris Rosenquist was there, and, you know, he gets a lot of these things that come down to them in the city, even though he's not a town supervisor, he's a mayor, and he said, you know what, if the county wants to do it, make them make the law and not each individual town, because if they've copied this law, it requires, the dog control officer can't do anything, it requires calling the sheriff. Well, the sheriff works for the county. And if we call if a town calls the sheriff and says, hey, there's a dog, that's gonna be the low priority. They'll get to us when they get to us. If it's a county law, and the county calls the sheriff and says, you need, our DCO contacts the county and says, this dog is out 18 hours a day and, on a chain that's only 4 feet long or whatever, then the county can tell the sheriff's office to come and take care of it. Because as we know, they prioritize our needs way down here. So, that's, if anyone wants to read Essex County's law, but it's basically, has to do with prolonged period outside, but also what they're tied up with, what they're tied to, can they get under trees, can they get in a house, are they gonna get tangled? I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff. I don't think, it's a good idea. Obviously, we don't wanna see dogs abused. And, we know that we've seen dogs outside for a long time and we've reported them. But in order to enforce this law, we would not have the hammer that the county would have, is my opinion.
I agree with that.
And that's what I told him. He's on the other side of the fence, but, and he said the legislature right now is split about half and half. About half of them agree that it should be at the county, and the other half don't want to deal with it, they want the towns to take care of it, so. We'll just have to wait to see what the legislature, I think when they meet next, they're gonna be discussing it, whether they make a decision or not at that time. Who's to say, but
Should be the county, I think.
anyway, that was something that he brought up to me. And he asked what we were doing for, his only other question was, what are you doing for the eclipse? And on that point, we've had several requests to have the beach gate open so people who don't have a spot to watch for the eclipse can go into the beach and, so that, it's a clear area so they can see. So I've told them that I will bring it up at the board meeting, so.
You passed a resolution tonight, right, to open that beach gate?
We did, but until
When's that
they,
gonna take effect?
excuse me?
When's that gonna take effect?
When I hear back from them,
From who?
because, and I tried to explain to them, we don't open the beach, first of all, on a normal winter. It's so snowed in, you can't open that gate anyway, but, this year proved us to be quite different than a normal winter.
Mm-hmm.
But we told them that it would take effect next winter would be when we would leave, have the gate open and whatnot, because, I think no one's going out in the ice now, are they?
No, there aren't we?
So, we could theoretically open it at any time right now. My only concern with having people in there is, how soft the ground is where they park. We might get some damage to the grass, but, if,
Get stuck.
yeah. But, we'll have to tell people, if you're going in there, you're gonna get bogged down. Stay on the pavement or stay on the gravel. There's plenty of hard stuff there. There's the dirt packed road that goes down toward the bathrooms, and there's the parking area, and there's the whole road, so.
So once the gate opens, do the bathrooms have to be open?
No.
No, because not until we know it's not gonna freeze, because,
How
there's no
many
heat.
people are you expecting at the,
And it would only be for a
Let's
couple of hours. I mean, you know, it's supposed to go over here, according to,
3:30.
little Ben Frechette, it's,
It's only 2 minutes long.
Weather.
yeah, it's like from
To full
2:41
eclipse. To full eclipse
to,
is
you know,
about 3
so
minutes.
it'd only have to be in
The
there
whole
for,
process is.
2 hours.
almost 3
Yeah.
hours, the
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah, if you wanna watch from the whole beginning to the end. I think most places are going from like noon to 5, like, what'd you say, at the airport?
Oh, well, yeah, that's 11 to 5, just,
Cause they're gonna have food truck if you wanna go to the
yeah, they're
airport.
making it an event.
There's stuff all over. If you wanna get a room, there's still rooms. It's minimum of 3 nights, it's $850 a night.
You see here, Dave's
Where's this?
paper.
Down in Plattsburgh, the Mike Hotel, that little strip right there.
Um,
It's still got a couple rooms left, king size beds, minimum of 3 nights at $850 a night. Saranac Lake was over 1,000.
So you plan on opening that up fairly soon and keeping it open?
Yeah, it's
Is
not
that-
24/7. I
No, I
mean,
understand you're gonna close it. Now, who does that? Who's in charge of closing that every night?
well, we have.
I've been, I did all last summer, me and Joey, and
Yeah, and I would open it up, well, Phelan, during the summer, Phelan opens it every morning at 6 o'clock or whatever, because he goes and checks the bathrooms, makes sure everything's running in the water, he has to test the water every day and whatnot. So he's got it open every morning early, and then,
I usually shut in when it's nice, 9 o'clock. And then when it starts going down towards fall, when it gets darker, if I go over there at 8 o'clock, right over there, I shut it. I mean, we've had campers in there, drugs, I mean, we put that nice walking path in there, they're driving up around there. I see them drive behind the bathrooms all the way down to the first dam. I mean,
they're not gonna be able to do that after this summer, because
it's crazy.
we're gonna block.
Yeah.
I went there,
But you gotta
actually,
provide the access to the people for the park. I mean, it was part of the grant, but, I mean,
Right,
it is what it is. You're gonna have to do something else now to keep cars where
right,
they belong.
yeah.
Well, there's a
Well-
secondary, listen, the grant's a wonderful thing. But people that live in Albany don't know what we're dealing with that Class C dam. So now we have a secondary problem, we gotta protect that Class C dam. We didn't see that coming. And we were just gonna probably just do status quo, what we were planning on doing for many, many years, but they're saying, no, you're not gonna get reimbursed for that. And then $93,000, you open that thing year round, okay, we're gonna do that, but we're gonna take precautionary measures, to make sure no one can have access to that Class C dam.
Yeah, so we're
Which
gonna,
I agree with,
Yeah.
but you're still, you know, I mean, it's been some nice weather. If a family wanted to go there, bring their kids today
Yeah.
and do
Yeah.
something, they should be able to.
Yeah.
And then not drive on the lawn. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah, typically, I mean, and typically we've, you know, the weather, like I say, this year
Yeah,
has
this
been
is
so weird,
unusual.
that typically no one would even be thinking of going on that property until the end of April,
Yeah.
you know? But,
I try to keep an eye on it. Like last year I went there at 9 o'clock and there was 2 kids, like 9, 10 Canadians. Their parents just left them there, said they'd be back. And no supervision,
yeah.
you know.
And anybody, and obviously anybody can walk in at any time,
Yeah.
you know, from all directions, so, you know,
You don't need a gate.
so. And that's, you know, we want people to go in there, I mean, that's what it's there for, but vehicles who tend to wanna stay, that's what we're
Yeah. preventing.
And going places, you know, like you said, you know, we had people that would drive right up through the woods and go and sit up by the,
Yeah, open up
You can't do
the
that.
beach, their own beach up there. Instead of going to the beach down here, they back the car up that walking path, right up where the rocks are, to the dam, and then had blankets and stuff, and had their own little,
Yeah.
it's like,
and the last couple of years, I mean, we go in there and, you know, sometimes it's a little scary, you got these, you know, people parked
Yeah.
there and it's, you
Well,
know,
that reverts back to my environmental impact study of what's happening to this area by all these people coming in, you know? You
Yeah.
never seen that years ago.
Yeah.
It's-
And, yeah, we're trying to-
shows, you
trying
know?
to stem
But
some
you know
of it.
that, to your point though, Frank, you're right to a certain point, but our cultures have changed. Our society has changed. We would never, you and I growing up would never do stuff that the people are doing today because we had better common sense about, that's wrong. They don't have that anymore.
No, no.
well, Danny and I take Dan Moore, take Lime Mountain, we've all lived here for our whole life. How many people know in Dan Moore now? I grew up there, I don't know half the people in Dan Moore.
Yeah, same thing.
And they don't care for other people. That's the sad part of our society. There's no care for other people anymore.
No, it's all about me and, you know,
Yeah.
there was a time around here, I'm sure you can do the same thing, you can name everybody on 374, Joey, for 5 miles each
Yeah.
direction, you know, and you can't do that anymore.
No.
But, you know, if you can't be stagnant either, you can't just say, nobody else can come here, because, I mean, that's our tax base, so
Yeah,
people,
right, but
you
it
know.
forces us to do other things.
Other stuff,
So,
that's
yeah,
exactly
so it
right.
forces
I
our
gotta
hand, we
monitor
have to
it.
be more
Right.
protective, we have to, you know, and you hate to be those people that put up signs everywhere, but, you know, if people aren't conscious enough on their own and polite enough on their own to not do things that you know they shouldn't be doing, then you have to put a big sign in front of them saying, you can't do this.
But even our own workers don't care about the property that we have. And I'll give you a perfect example. I got it on my phone. So I followed the county truck because we're blamed that we put too much salt in the road. So the roads are soaking wet. It's like they got rained on, right? And I saw this. He's putting down salt. I saw, son of a bitch, he's putting freaking salt on a wet road. So I passed him, went around, get out my phone, I get down, and I videotaped the one side 374 was soaking wet like it was rained on. Videotaped this side 374 was soaking like it was rained on. Then I waited for the truck. And as he trucked up, I put my video on, and he was just laying the salt over those wet roads. Laying it. I said, you gotta be freaking kidding me. So our own people that work in our own area don't give a shit about our property.
No,
Yeah.
no, they're out doing the job because in turn, one car slips, goes off the road because he's going too fast, and in turn, they complain the road was slippery, went off the road.
Well, listen, there's no way they're gonna slip off that road, because it was soaking wet.
The state truck or county?
It was, state, DOT.
And that's the thing too, because I worked there for 13 years, and that's a liability thing. I mean, the boss tells you gotta go put it out.
Bullshit.
But it is, I agree
Well,
100%.
but the state, and you know, and then I go to this salt reduction council every year, and the state will sit there and pound on the desk saying, you towns need to stop doing this, and I got up and told them, I live here, there's these 3 accesses that the state plows near, and guess who's putting down pure salt? The state. The town is not putting down that much salt. We put enough salt in our sand to make it so it doesn't freeze solid, and it's the sand.
I get a big kick out of it too, because how many years have they been complaining about the salt, right? And then a couple of years ago, the county starts putting down straight salt now. It's like,
And it
you
hits
ain't
the
going
road
anywhere
and
with
it
it,
bounces
you know what
off anyway.
Yeah.
The
It's
county
in the
put
ditches.
salt down before, you
So
know what I'm saying?
all the trees are dead on the side of the road because all the
Well, the thing
salt's
is, the
off the
state
side of
knows
the
what
road.
they're doing because of all the contaminated properties. You know, they have a big thing down in Ross Sable,
Yeah, it ain't just here, it's
right along,
There's
wherever,
always-
those wells have been contaminated.
Lake
Wells in
Placid,
Beekman Town, Shazy,
Lake Placid had a big problem all along
And
there.
then you're gonna blame the towns? Those are state roads, you know?
Exactly. Okay.
All right, what else?
What else we got? Are we on committee reports?
Yeah, I'm still looking to make sure I've
Okay.
done what I wanted to bring up. I think that's it, that lawn, So we're good with opening the gate for the,
Yeah.
eclipse? Circle back to what we started at.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be open for 4 or 5 hours.
No. You know, open it at, like noon and then, because it's not supposed to start until like 2:41.
41.
Does she know?
You watch the thing.
And hopefully we have a clear sky.
Yeah, that's gonna turn
I'm
off.
Not
predicting that's when we're gonna get our April blizzard.
Yeah, you could have a winter snowstorm and it'd be just a shadow.
So we got a nice.
Yep, it
Still
got
gonna get
dark,
dark.
and now
Well,
it's
gonna
like,
get dark, yeah,
but you're not gonna see the,
Yeah.
You'll be able to see the sun.
we're gonna be
Yeah.
positive. It's gonna be a beautiful, clear day, 60
Exactly.
degrees.
I wanna see it.
Okay.
Because how many of us are gonna be here in 20,
We're predicting
Some odd years.
a boatload of people to be in the classroom.
I will, I'm gonna live to,
Okay.
I can be a lot of
my
people
father's
out
gonna be 93, I'm gonna live another.
I took a day off to be around this case. You're gonna see accidents and unfortunately, hopefully not, but
I think
people are
we're
gonna
gonna,
decide to.
I think you're gonna see a lot of crime.
That's the other thing I said.
Perfect storm for crime.
Yeah.
Oh, is everybody's
focus.
distracted?
Well, they're also
Everybody's
throwing
looking
out stuff
up.
about cell phones not working properly too.
There's gonna be a.
If there's some
everybody's gonna be
solar
on one,
flares
so-
or,
Well,
yeah,
just the overload of the systems.
Yeah, everybody
What happened out
pulling
on
the phone
fours,
up.
You get so many people there, the systems would shut down.
And the emergency rooms will
be.
be busy because everybody's gonna burn out their retinas that
You say
are
not to
too
do that with
stupid.
your phone, cause your phone is like your eye, you do that with your phone, you'll ruin your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And people that think they can look in a mirror, I've heard that too. So, all right, I'm done with mine. Jim,
No.
Jason?
Only one other thing on that is, for talking about the playground and stuff, we need to start looking about the basketball.
Yep.
Things. I don't know if they're gonna
Yeah,
have
you
somebody
guys-
come and do it.
You
or-
guys decide how you want it done. I mean, I think it should be done professionally.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
So,
So I have
I mean,
to do like
yeah.
a bid, have to get 3 bids and.
Yep. Yeah, and you can just call it. I mean, it's not gonna be over the amount where you can't just call and have them fax a bid in or whatever, or email. Some people fax, some people email, so.
So how many are there? There's 4, right?
There's 2 sets.
2 sets.
2 sets.
So you guys can decide where you want them, how you want it done.
Well, I think we should all make an agreement on that. I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, just
We talked-
bring it to us
Oh,
and,
we talked about the beach thing. I don't know if that was, so we're doing half court there or not. I mean, I don't know I don't even know what the shape is of the 4 that are out right now. I mean, I'm sure.
well, Wilford King, the one in Emma King Park, is
Yeah, that's
is
shot.
bad.
I mean,
That someone broke the backboard this fall and,
I guess the question would be, if you put 2s and 2s, if you want 2 at my mountain, 2 on Emma King, then that eliminates the lake, but do you wanna just run off of the grass on the lake? At the lake and let them play off the grass, or do you wanna pour concrete, or?
well, I don't think we really need one at the lake. I mean,
Then 2 and 2 at Emma King, and
Between
2 in Lime
playground and the volleyball and, it's a beach, so.
Is the resurfacing of the courts in play too?
Yeah, I'm coordinating with, Sean Aiken, because they want to, the old court that's next to the dog park, there's a basketball court there. They wanna make that a pickleball court. So I told them that when they're ready to go into that, to let us know, because the company comes from Vermont, and if they can do all of them at once, we're gonna save money with shared, having them all come at once, so, I'll reach out to him and see when they think they're gonna wanna start doing that. Obviously, the weather's gotta be nice.
So we're just going replacing what we got. 2 up there and 2 on Wolf Narrow. And then hopefully,
Yeah, and the court though in Lime Mountain is shot.
yeah, I'm getting.
That's gotta get repaved or
Okay.
re-cemented or whatever, cause it was tar, right, up there, and it's full of holes and it's all broken up. Cause that was the discussion about kids riding their bikes on that, and we said, well, why can't they ride them on the basketball court? And then they said, oh, well, that's all broken up. And it's like, well, tell us before it gets to the point where you can't even ride a bike on it.
Emma King is breaking down, the pickleball court in Emma King is breaking down only because it's not leveled correctly, the water stays on.
It's pooling right in the center, you can see
So
it.
then the water ruins the surface.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So they would have to bring a transit to redo it and make sure it's.
yeah, good point.
Yeah, that was just covered, it wasn't really engineered,
Yeah, just covered, and that was it.
so,
I'm
yeah.
sure they have some stuff they can put down for a small
Mhm.
1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, and then surface it after that.
Yeah,
So I got one other thing, I should drop a new business. What are we doing with the pavilion?
the far end where it's low, we're gonna have to add concrete to that.
And how's the structure there, good?
It's good, yeah, they shored it back up, yep, and the posts were, they surrounded the posts with the concrete, and the structure itself is in good shape. There's one outlet that needs to be repaired, that's up in the corner, one of the plugins, but.
The reason I'm asking, I had a person ask me, last week, is the pavilion open? I said, yeah, they'll be open. So why is that? So we're gonna have a wedding there. Ooh, I said, I better double check if it's okay for that. So I knew we had to take out a big stone and stump that were there. I said, no,
Oh, yeah,
no, I
mean,
better double check that.
The concrete, there's a low spot on the end closest to the driveway. There's a low spot there, that it gets wet, but I mean, there's not a problem. There's no tripping hazard anymore. There's no big humps or
Did they
cracks.
reserve it? Some wedding?
Well, they're gonna call you, well, who's ever in
They
that
better
office.
hurry up, because July's already,
Well, I told them, I said, listen, don't wait,
Yeah,
cause if
everything,
you wait, you're done,
It's
cause that
pretty
place gets busy.
yeah, it's pretty booked. July is, I think, completely booked,
they book a year ahead.
and August is mostly booked,
Yep.
so.
So, yeah, okay.
How's that work if, somebody books that and, I mean, the gate's open, so say somebody's got it for tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and then when they get there, there's 50 people
Well,
there.
we post, and we have a new
Bless you.
board to post it on that, but we have a board that we post, that this is reserved for, on this date for these people. And we put it all around we tack it to the pavilion itself, and the lifeguards are aware of it. And if there's ever an issue, and, the lifeguards call one of us, and we go and route them out of there. It's pretty good, if someone sees that this is reserved, they've been.
I've never seen any issue, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, a couple years ago, there was an issue, somebody had reserved it, and someone had gotten there real early thinking that they could, first come, first serve, and no.
Yeah, kick them out.
Then we do, kick them out of there.
Yep.
Sorry, go over there. And we also had an issue last year where somebody said, oh, can I bring a canopy, put over a picnic table and whatnot, and well, what they showed up with was like a circus tent, I mean, a huge thing, and so it now is in there. If you show up and you're gonna take up that much space with a tent or something, then you're also gonna pay. It's gonna be just like you reserve the pavilion, you're taking up all the space that other people could be using, then, so that we added that to the list that goes to people when they reserve. Leslie sends out here's the rules, here's the regulations, and, here's how much you owe and that kind of thing. We added that to it because, no, it's not a place for somebody to come bring a huge tent.
Well, they asked if they could put up a canopy, and I was like, sure. I thought 8 by 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
over-
push
over
up
a
canopy,
picnic
right?
Well, then they call and they're like, well, the tent company needs to get in there. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Tent company?
Oh, that one
You
night
asked
last
me if
year.
you could put up a canopy. We didn't talk about no tent. So
Yeah,
then we were already, it was too late at that
Yeah.
point. But that,
What about the park for the swing?
I have it.
You like the-
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, they sent me the latch on the handicap swing.
I got a question about the EMS system. I was aware recently that they did go into Clinton Correctional for an inmate. And I thought that they weren't supposed to do that.
Danmore?
Yeah.
No, they don't.
They don't.
They did. CBPH was called, EMS coming for the first one, and then there was another call, and no one responded apparently, and then Danmore come in to grab the inmate. And I thought that was not supposed to happen, that was for us, especially now since we only got one, we don't have two anymore.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
I know that's something that should be addressed to the EMS or to the call dispatch or,
I can check into it.
He can pull the dispatch records.
yeah, I was told by a good
They
source
took
of the
a-
fire department
They
that
took an officer or somebody 47-year-old out.
They did, it was right around that same time though, a day or two prior to Steve Lazinski dying. Probably a week prior to him, there was a call there that they went in and got an inmate.
Well, I'll address it, I'll find out.
Yeah, find out, because I was told.
Yeah, 'cause
about
that's
that.
No, that's
That's
not
been
part of
years
their-
since that happened,
I mean, honestly, that's the villages.
In fact,
They normally don't, they've never done it in the
In
past.
fact,
You're
yeah.
not supposed to,
in
that's for
fact,
us.
they refuse to do it because, well,
And they always ask too.
for the reason that it's not for the inmates,
Right.
and also for the fact that the state doesn't pay.
Hey.
They usually confirm it too usually when they pay it out, they always stay civilian. Because if a visitor goes there and something happens to a visitor, they transport them.
Right,
It's
yeah,
just the inmate itself.
yeah.
But usually they state it over the page, and then if not, sometimes whoever's on the ambulance will confirm if it's staff
I think there
or.
was a mix-up there, but some clarification I think needs to be addressed with that.
Yeah, we'll take a look
I'll
at
take
that.
a look at it.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Mike?
So Chattagay Lake is, I don't know how many phases they're gonna have quite a few, but Chattagay Lake is close to round one of Priscilla Core.
I can't wait.
They get the boots back?
Huh?
They get a boot?
I think you're gonna see it shortly.
Yeah, they're gonna do, yeah,
I
they're
don't
gonna
know
do
if they have
the,
an exact date yet, but
they're
they're.
doing the narrows
Their
first.
plan is from the south side of the sandbar through Narrows Bridge, which obviously it flows north, so it's gonna carry it further, but that's step one.
I mean, what a perfect litmus test
And,
for this.
Mm-hmm.
How much money does it cost to do this?
It's,
Roughly.
it's costly, it's like
It-
$1,000 an acre.
About that, yeah. I'd say if you're going by acres, I'd say, cause I think they're talking $20,000 right there in that.
Yep.
I mean,
But it's, I mean, compared to what
And that'll
you
just
spend
treat that.
on
They
hand harvesting and
finally-
all of that,
They came to the
it's
conclusion
one and
you can't
done?
catch it, you know? So, and I also talked to the guy who, about a year ago, not a little more than a year, was interested in the prison school in Lime Mountain. I got a hold of Ives, and he's a German who now lives in Pennsylvania. Has a company over in Germany, his dad runs that, he moved here 4 years ago. And he's not ruled it out, and he already has a pretty good market in the US for what he makes. But, he said the economy and the cost of borrowing money right now are preventing him from moving that out. He said Biden, I didn't wanna say that, but I have. Biden's preventing me from moving. Cause he talks with this German accent, but,
but he's still interested.
he's
though.
still interested, but he says, you know, the money's gotta come around.
Yeah.
So they can't borrow money at 7%.
No, nobody can,
He said, there's work to be done there, and
a lot of work.
it's getting close.
The opportunity.
The main building itself is, his man that came with him considered that a tear down, man.
Oh, yeah.
He said,
The school itself, yeah, that's been left too long, the walls are falling in.
So what would be the 7th and 8th grade upstairs end of the school? Probably everyone knows that way. The boys' room on that end of the school, actually, there is a hole you can see outside. The weather's coming right in there.
Yeah.
Too bad.
I don't remember the library being in the center, I don't remember what was on the ends. Fourth grade was on the church side, I
The
think.
4th grade was downstairs above.
Yeah, so you went at a different time than me, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, fourth grade was
It was
downstairs.
12th grade.
It was right by the stairway going up to the other end, fourth grade was right
Yeah,
here.
Beacon Methodist
There we
Church
went
in,
Fourth, fifth, and sixth were up.
come in,
up top.
7th and 8th grade were there, then you had a boys' room. That boys' room ceiling is
Gone,
collapsed in.
What a shame.
that's too bad.
But
Yeah, the state put $1 million in it.
he's really environmentally, he's environmentally friendly, like, I explained to him about the sewer pump and stuff, and they say everywhere where he is, he will have an ecosystem to handle the sewer. He said he does not think it would be a sewer plant anyways, there would be something green.
Mhm.
But he likes the building, it's just a question of, and I don't know, Gilbert's the guy who owns it, the guy I know he likes best is Robert Poitras. He loves Robert, because he can talk French with Robert, so he loves Robert. He likes him the best. But
Well, yeah, I'll get with Shane to, because if now there's an opening in the ceiling, then that gives Shane an out to condemn the building. And, and then that puts him on the clock. You have this much time to do something
I
with this
did
building.
contact Molly at the county, and,
She's got COVID, I talked to her today.
well, this was last year when he was up here, and I didn't get much of a response. I was thinking of going to Gary Douglas, would probably have more effect, but he's not pushing the issue right now, so I'm not gonna put a lot of man hours into hunting money down for him if he's not truly gonna jump into it.
But I think Molly's your best bet though, because that organization she's with now that's what they do, is they try to get businesses in, so,
So,
yeah,
I'm good, that's where we're at.
perfect.
Yeah, one
Thank you.
more quick question before we move on. Have you heard any updates on the battery storage thing?
No, I think they're doing the contract right now, so they're, one other thing for general consumption is, we've discussed, as far as elections go, we have discussed looking at converting the highway superintendent's position from elected to appointed. It's been tried before, it goes before the electorate. It's a proposition on your ballot that says, you know, changing it from one to the other. I see major advantages to changing it because then the highway superintendent reports to the board. The board can tell them what hours you're to be here, and what jobs you need to attend to. And they basically would report to the board, if it was an appointed position.
And it's like a working supervisor.
And it would be, we would require that they have a
CDL.
CDL, because with 3 men, if you had a highway superintendent who could jump in the truck if one of them is out, especially during the winter for plowing or whatnot, then that would be ideal.
That would
And
be like an open-end appointment.
it would be an appointment, and I'm sure there would be some stipulations because of the position, you know, you couldn't just, you know, if they're not doing their job, then the board would be able to say, you know, get this right or else see you later. And that's, you know, and that would be, I think would be beneficial. I mean, it's, we don't have just having somebody who has a CDL would greatly enhance the highway department.
Do other towns do it?
It's been
Other
tried.
other towns have tried. The electorate has not approved it on the ballot. Shazy tried it 3 years ago, but I think there was some issues. It was more of a personality thing than it was a functional, this is better for our town kind of thing, so it got voted down. And, I mean, all we can do is try, but we would have a public hearing on it. Because here the steps are, we would propose a law, because you have to write a law to change from elected to appointed. So we would propose that this law, which does that, we'd have a public hearing on it, just like any law. And then, but it would just stay stagnant until after election, after the votes are counted on the proposition. And then if that gets passed, then, and we're doing this because this is so the next election, next year, which is the end of the term for the sitting superintendent, after that it would start to be a higher position, an appointed position.
And then through that point of position, the board can request resumes and stuff like that for